Hello, my name is Joseph Pastro, and today I'll be doing my final presentation on my iPhone front camera because the back camera is broken. And so, with that, I will be doing it on the Basque culture and more so the gender roles within that culture and the impact that they had on the culture, the history of the culture, and what I think should be pulled from it to be applied to the rest of the world. I think also one of the things that goes hand in hand with that and the Basque history is their constant resistance to acculturation, and the constant fight in that is frequent throughout the culture's history. Granted, they have been around forever and are one of the longest, if not, I believe, the longest standing culture that has been in Spain, France border and never left. That is where they've been. They have the native language 100%. And so, with that being said, I think a good place to start when talking about that longevity is women and the impact that they've had on that culture, which has been massive. I mean, you look through it and they've been completely equal. They've had that equality from day one. They've been considered the same. They've had rights to property. They've had rights to vote. I mean, they've been able to be politicians or hold positions of power, obviously in past times, and have been respected. And the voice is the same, I guess, more so than anything else. Their voice is just as important as any other male's voice, and vice versa. And so, I think that says something about their culture and should definitely be looked further into by other cultures, which I think is interesting given the fact that they've been around for so long. How have we not paid more attention to that, I think, and how have we not looked at that and said, hey, I think that we could all benefit from this and pull things from this culture who's literally been here forever, that maybe that's part of the reason why. And throughout their history, they've all been very balanced. I mean, as far as exports go, they've been fishermen and they build ships. But not only that, the other aspect of it is that their ability to create beautiful textiles and beautiful pieces of clothing, actually sought after pieces of clothing. It's absolutely incredible, and that balance between the two, I think, speaks to women having a big impact on the culture, and I think that they have been able to help lead the culture into a more balanced, solid foundation type of deal. I guess, as weird as that is to put, I just think that it's should be looked at, and I think that we should definitely pull from it for future reference, because I simply think that it's crazy that we haven't looked more so into it. Granted, part of that is because the Basque culture, as I said, has faced lots of acculturation issues, but really, really heavy in recent times in World War II. Um, they were absolutely decimated and basically either forced to leave or forced to abide by the rules that were set in place by Franco Francisco. And so he basically came in and had soldiers and other poor Spanish nationalists move in into these areas and take these and try to take these areas over and control these areas, and more so take away from the things that they liked and the things that they cherished and some of the things that were the foundations of their culture, such as their language and their homes, and 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 just decimated them and tried to completely take them off. They burned books. They burned anything that had the language in it. They wanted to just completely remove it, and I think it's absolutely crazy. And not only that, but the homes as well. I mean, the home throughout the history of Basque has been super, super important. I mean, one of the most sought after positions, which typically is held by a female, actually, is the head of the house. And that's the person who has the most care and most love for the house, and who is willing to put the time in to keep the house, because it's one of the things that's passed down. They don't typically build new houses. They take such good care of the stuff that they have, and they're taught through generations all the way up to to have that care, so that they don't need to do that, that they just simply take care of what they have and value the things that they have, so that then they can pass it down generation through generation, and cherish that, and hold that value more so than just, as most of the rest of the world does, just destroy and build again. And which to each their own, but I think that there's something to be said about that, and I think that that can also go hand in hand into the longevity of their culture, and why they have had it, because of the care in the quality of life that they live, and in the simple things that they have that are super super cherished and super super well respected, which obviously were not by Francisco and his men and the Spanish country as a whole at that time. They just were not respected, and so many of them did happen to leave. And obviously, we all probably know that, just given where we live in Boise, happening to be one of the bigger destinations for these immigrants, and with open arms. I mean, obviously, we have tons of bass parades. We celebrate the culture, which is the way it should be. And we should celebrate that culture more so, instead of going and allowing what happened in World War II to stain and more so have a lasting impact on this culture, which obviously it's had its impact, but at the same time, with all the help from other cultures who have respect for other cultures, they've been able to revive a bit, and have festivals, and more so enjoy their culture for what it is, and speak their language, and enjoy that. And they've also started opening up tons of places where they're teaching that Basque language, and there's Basque centers, and you can go and you can actually understand what that is, more so than just simply have no idea what it is that you're really talking about. And so with that, I think it's a great place to really end. And I absolutely love doing the research for the Basque. I think that we should, if I was a government person, I would definitely pull from this culture, and I would look at the way that women have impacted the whole setup, and really really integrate that into what I was doing, especially in some of the not so great parts of the world, where women should have that voice, and it should be there, and it should be respected and treated as equal, just like it has been in their culture for many many years. And so with that, I just think that that's a good place to end, and I appreciate you listening, and yeah.